Venison jerky. I took a couple back straps and I trimmed them all up because I prefer to make my jerky out of whole muscle. And the back strap, it works perfect for that. The only thing you gotta make sure you do is trim up all that silver skin and even get off all that little bit of gobbledygook. I typically cut 3 pieces out of each back strap. I like to vacuum and seal each cut so I have a weight for the ingredients that I need when I'm either gonna make sausage or jerky. The meat is way easier to slice when they're partially frozen. Just throw it in the freezer, take them out, let them thaw out for a tad, and then start slicing them up. I always slice my jerky at 1/4 inch. If you go a little thinner, it tends to dry out. And if you have a few chunks that are a little thicker like I do, some of those are gonna take a little longer to finish up. Typically, I slice up any of my jerky with the grain. But when it comes to a backstrap, it's not the easiest to really line it up. So I just start slicing. And you can certainly do this with a very sharp knife. But I got a slicer. I'm gonna use it. It is time to start marinating this jerky. And today I'm doing this venison teriyaki style.
Teriyaki.
Teriyaki. From Wisconsin, we say teriyaki. Sounds tougher. Now I got this seasoning from a variety pack that I get from PS Seasoning. For me, it's a lot easier than getting all the different ingredients just to make jerky. But if you want to be a little bit more adventurous, use whatever recipe you got. For you beginners though, learn how to cook the jerky and not have to worry about a recipe. Just get yourself a kit. I'll have a link in the description below for PS Seasoning, plus maybe some other things that you want. To make up my marinade, I use my medium briner bucket. I throw in a 1/2 cup of water and the seasoning, then I get out my power whisk and mix it up until all of that seasoning has dissolved. I took that sliced up venison, swashbuckled it around real well, make sure all of it's coated. Then I throw it in my small briner so I can divide it easier into about 2.5 pounds into each one of those vacuum sealed bags. Seal it up tight, flatten it out, and massage it a bit and throw it back in the refrigerator. You're gonna wanna marinate this venison jerky for at least 8 to 24 hours. It's finally time to get cooking. Preheat whatever cooker you're using at the lowest temp setting. You really want to slowly dry out this jerky and not cook it. And for all of you that are using a vertical electric smoker like I am, at the first couple hours, if you see a little condensation coming out of that cap, you know you're doing it right. I always love using these little wire racks when I'm smoking up some jerky. It's just a lot easier than putting the jerky straight on the grate. You always want to keep a little bit of spacing between each slice because not only is it going to help smoke it a little better, it's also going to help even out the cooking if they're not overlapping each other. The 2 Pro Smoker pits that I own have crushed every single jerky cook I've ever done. I run the Pro Max at 140 degrees just to pull out some of that moisture before I add any smoke. This pit actually runs off sawdust, and I prefer to add hickory to any type of venison jerky that I'm gonna smoke. Typically around the 3-hour mark, I like to not only rotate the jerky throughout the pit, I also like to flip them over because this really does help speed up the cooking process. Now, depending on whatever type of cooker that you're using, it's gonna take anywhere from 4 to 8 hours to completely cook all of this jerky. A great way to tell if your jerky is done, first, it is obviously shrunk down to about 50% of the size. And second, it doesn't have any oily pull-ups or shine on that jerky. Your third step, just bend it. If it breaks, it's done. If it snaps back, you gotta dry it out some more. I'm 7 hours in, and this is my last rack of venison jerky. Let's take a look at it, but my guess, it's pretty much done. Oh yeah, this is done. I can see right here, we start bending it, she's gonna break. Check another piece. Same thing with like that. So we'll get these little delicious morsels out, let them cool down a little bit, and then we can start eating them. Power off our pit. And I'm gonna leave the door open for all of you deer hunters that just sat out in their stand the last couple days freezing your butt. If you got one of these, it's a heater. Make deer hunting simple. Now here's a test. Snap a tui. Peel it off, take a bite. And rip it off too. Kind of bite into it, chew away. To me, this is venison jerky. And because I use the teriyaki seasoning on it, I know the majority of the people that try it are gonna like it. Well, that's all I got. Roll the nation. Maybe with some beef jerky, wagyu jerky, pork jerky, fish jerky, turkey jerky, chicken jerky, turkey jerky. What's turkey jerky?